Hi, welcome back to my channel. This book review here is for The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth. And obviously we know that there's going to be an age discrepancy between whoever the husband is and the wife is, simply by the title. The very, very pretty title, by the way. But let me tell you about this book. We have Stephen Ashton. He is a heart surgeon who is, the best guy around. At least, in his field, he's really good. He loves his wife, or appears to love his wife at the beginning of the book. But something changes. But before I tell you about him, I'm looking down at the blurb, and I think because of the way the blurb is set up, I'm going to go ahead and read it. And you'll see why I want to read it. The husband. A heart surgeon at the top of his field, Stephen Ashton is getting married again, but first he must divorce his current wife, even though she can no longer speak for herself. Protagonist number 1. The daughters. Tully and Rachel Ashton look upon their father's fiancée, Heather, as nothing but an interloper. Heather is younger than they are, both of them. Clearly, she's after their father's money. The former wife. With their mother in a precarious position, Tully and Rachel are determined to get to the truth about their family secret. With their mother in a precarious position, Tully and Rachel are determined to get to the truth about their family secrets. The new wife is closing in, and who their father really is. And then we have the younger wife, Heather. She has secrets of her own. Will getting to the truth unleash the most dangerous impulses in all of them? All right. This book, it has an average on Goodreads of 3.95, with most of the stars being 3. And then, of course, 4 and 5 stars. I'm going to go 4 stars. Anybody that's reading this book, whether you buy it or you get it from your library or Audible or something like that, then you're going to find out when you get to the end that you're going to kind of have to put some missing pieces of a puzzle together. Those of us who got this as an ARC, an advanced reader's copy, got an ending that made the story very confusing and it was questionable as to whether or not it wrapped up the story. I say that because maybe viewers of this video might be book reviewers themselves and may not have had a chance to read the ARC yet. But one thing, if you got this from NetGalley like I did, if you re-download it, there is a new ending. Now, I'm not trying to be negative about this book because it's really not worthy of being negative about, because it's a psychological thriller in the sense of, it's women's fiction. As a matter of fact, let's see what NetGalley calls it, because I'm curious. I'm just going to zip over there really quick. And I know that sometimes I blather on in my videos, but I kind of like the style that I use, and I'm going to stay with it. But I just want to just get the correct genre, and it is listed as... Why won't the full details come up? That's weird. Okay. Mystery and thrillers. Okay, great. Psychological thriller. Because that's what I kind of think of it as. And let me tell you why. Okay. The wife in this story, the mother of Tully and Rachel, is in an assisted living or some type of a home because of advanced Alzheimer's. She doesn't even recognize her daughters. So she definitely doesn't even recognize her husband. But then their father one day tells the girls, who are both women, grown women, that they go to lunch. Actually, let's go to lunch. So it's not the 3 of them that go to lunch. There's 4 of them that go to lunch. One of the people that join them for lunch is Heather, a younger woman than they are. And the father informs them that not only is he dating Heather, but he proposed to Heather. Well, Tully and Rachel flip out. What are you talking about, Dad? You're still married to Mom. How are you going to get married? That's not fair. You're trying to replace our mother. So they wonder, what does this much younger woman want with their father? Okay. Now, Pam, who is the mother, like I said, has advanced Alzheimer's or dementia and is quickly progressing. So the girls, they want to make sense of this. So if you take everything at face value, you start to realize that Stephen, our male protagonist, the father slash husband slash new husband to be, or husband to be, is somebody that you may not like. And then if you start to look at Tully and her problems, which are magnanimous, you're not going to be too crazy about Tully. Then there's Rachel. She's got her own issues, and you may not really be too crazy about Rachel. What about Heather? She's just coming onto the scene. Well, keep reading if you're going to read this book, because you'll learn things about Heather. But then there's Pam, the mother. I don't know anybody with Alzheimer's on an intimate level. Like I know like a friend of mine whose father has it, but I don't know anybody closely. But Pam is a person that needs a warm hug every chance you can give her. That's how I read her as a character. So, what's happening in the book? Why is their father so sure that he wants to divorce their ailing mother and remarry a much younger woman? And then the fact that, as I thought, it's a psychological thriller. So what makes it such a psychological thriller? Well, there's a mystery. And, I'm a jigsaw puzzle person, and I like 1,000-piece puzzles, and you put them out and you sort them and you do this and you do that. Well, that's what this book does. It gives you a bunch of pieces. And that's why I read the blurb. Okay? Which was what? The husband, the daughters, the former wife, the younger wife. So you've got these puzzle pieces. And then you have something underlying. So let's say you're doing a puzzle and it has a lot of sky. I'm a sky person. I'm going to do the sky first. So hopefully if I get the sky first, then the rest of the puzzle will make sense to me. Well, that's kind of what I think you can look at with this book, is once you figure out what's going on underneath, then you can take all of these different characters and their individual stories and start to put it together. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this review, there was a strange thing that happened with the ending. The ending in the original arc is different than the ending that is available now. And I thought that if I listen, because I grabbed this at Audible, if I listened to it with the new ending, I would be satisfied. I would pull everything together. But once I did that, I went back and got my Kindle and read the original ending. And guess what? That puzzle isn't going to be complete with just me doing the sky. I have to do the whole puzzle. And that's what you have to do with this book. You kind of left to a conclusion that you have to form. Now, as an ARC, I don't know if there are discussion questions, but I think this book would be a good book for a book club because there's a lot to talk about. Now, a lot that I can't really even say because I don't want to give any spoilers. And the reason I mentioned about, I'm curious whether or not the final copy would have discussion questions, because you have some reveals and layers, multi-layers. I had to think of the right word. And you want to be able to put everything into its perspective, the right perspective, and come to a great conclusion. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 stars. I think Sally Hepworth did pretty good. I think she did. And I want to talk about this book with some friends of mine, but I didn't want to talk about this with them until I made this review and wrote the review for my blog. So now that I'm getting that done, today I can look forward to some discussions about the book. So if you read Sally Hepworth's The Younger Wife, let me know what you think. Especially let me know what you think of the conclusion. And if you agree with my rating of 4 stars, would you have gone lower or would you go higher? All right, that's it for now. Bye, everybody.